the many remix albums that seem to be coming out these days, I would say the one that piques my interest the most is an album like this. You have a fantastic artist, GoGo Penguin, who I have been repping on this channel for God knows how long now. Even last week I did a video where I included GoGo Penguin in it. You can certainly say I'm a big fan, but not only is it because it's GoGo Penguin, but when you have a stacked list of artists that are so talented in their respective fields coming together to craft a remix album like this of such high caliber artists, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I can't believe there's just so many great artists on one remix album. This is like an electronic fan's wet dream. Square Pusher, Clark, Machine Drum, 8080 State, friggin' Portico Quartet, Cornelius, the list goes on. There's like so many huge names on here in the electronic world, and they are all great artists in their own right. And how the hell GoGo Penguin managed to do this, I don't friggin' know. An absolutely stellar list of names. Just shocking, honestly. It's shocking. And the quality of the music is, of course, really, really good. They don't really do anything to hinder the original tracks. Again, if you haven't heard the original album, it might be worth going back to it to listen to it, because it is really good. And then reimagining it in this state here is quite an interesting progression. You have the opening track with Cornelius, kind of just adding layers to the original song. It's not hugely different, I don't think, really, but I think it's still a really good tune, and I think the drumming and the percussion on this track is really, really good. Speaking of that though, Atomised with Machine Drum, probably the best moment on the album in terms of drumming, but of course the drum and bass nature of Machine Drum's music is really shining through here. So, you know, his production being incredible is hardly any news to me, because I already knew how good he was. But like, the drums sound friggin' ace on this one, and the melody just gets better and better and better and better and better as the track goes on. This is possibly the best song here. Probably, I don't know, there's a few I could say that for, but this track really, really stands out. You've got the track Open with Nathan Fake, who is a really talented artist. Again, many talented artists on this album. One of the lesser known names, I would say, though. This track initially sounds like it's like a post-punk song. Honestly, I feel like I'm transported to the early 80s and maybe some Bauhaus or Joy Division, like kicking things off. It's a really interesting approach that he took here. The progression, once again, is stellar. I think that's the aim of the album, the big feature, the big selling point, the unique selling point, the USP. It's progression, because some of these tracks start one way and then by the end they've taken you to a completely new world. And I think that's the best aspect of so many of these songs. There are two versions of F Maj Pixie. I love the fact that there are two versions of this. Initially, when I saw the same song remixed by two different artists, I was like, couldn't they have done different songs? Wouldn't it have been better to do that? But then when I actually heard the results, I was really happy, because I love the way Roan and Square Pusher use their own ideas in such a creative way that makes these two tracks sound really different. I just love how they've managed to do that. You've got Roan, who takes it in a very starry, twilight, twinkly direction, and then you've got Square Pusher that feels more like it's just, you know, the pre-twilight moments, the sunset. It feels quite Fortet-ish, actually, with the instrumental here. It really sounds lovely. Just a very mood-setting track. And then the way it friggin' spazzes out of control and just loses its inhibitions towards the end, it's just so good. It's so glitchy and very typical Square Pusher by the end of the track. Really love the way this one progresses. Like I say again, just so different to what Roan did on their track. And both versions are really respectable in their own right. I love that they've done this. James Holden track's quite interesting, because I feel like whenever I hear anything Holden does, I'm not entirely sure where he'll take his track, because we've heard so many different variations of sounds from this man over the course of the years. And, you know, this track just feels very intergalactic. And again, feeling more like you'd hear this on, you know, John Hopkins' Singularity than anything else. But of course, that's only a good thing, because that's a good album. So yeah, really like what Holden did with Totem here. And then you've got Clark. You've got Clark, man. This is an underrated name in music, I feel. I mean, there are people out there that do respect Clark's music, but the albums he's put out over the years are friggin' stellar. For me, another highlight on the album, the bustling and crowded busyness of the way this track initially starts off, and then as it progresses, again, you just have this really mellowed out, chilled out ending that just feels quite jarring, because the way it gets to that point is really hard to see coming because of how it introduces itself initially. It's like a hectic train station, you know, in the busy moments, and then suddenly everyone just kind of peters out and suddenly it's empty. I guess, you know, the trains have set off and all the people are moved out of the way. It's very much like that. The track To the Nth with Shunya is a complete whirlwind of a song. The way it sounds really ghoulish at points, and then the cartoonish like little plicky ploppy bleep blops that come in sound really fun and playful, and then it just kind of takes you in so many different directions that you can't really keep up with what this this song is trying to do, but it does sound really good. And the final track with Portico Quartet, one of my favourite names on this entire album, honestly. It's quite a surprising one, because it takes the album in a very melancholic direction just to close things out. It's not a bad way to go, but for their usual standards and their quality, I actually think this is a bit of a letdown compared to some of the other tracks, which I think just, you know, highlight the qualities of so many of these artists. And yet I don't know if this one does that. I don't know if this one highlights the best of Portico Quartet's usual standards. I'm not sure it does. But even still, I think it's a nice way to close things out. It's just not as detailed and as packed with eventful ideas as some of these other songs are. But yeah, honestly, this is a really good album. It's just as good as the original, I think. You know, some of the tracks don't necessarily improve the original songs because they were already really good, but I think what they do is that they just highlight so many great aspects of so many different types of artists in the electronic and even jazz world. I love that this album exists, honestly. So many great names coming together, and the quality of the music is definitely there as well. And I think it deserves the same rating that, you know, the original album got. I think I will go a 7.5 out of 10. Just slightly scraping the great boundary here, really. But the score isn't that important because I'm basically saying it's a really good album. And, you know, a potential year-end list contender, and at least an honourable mention by the end of the year, no doubt. Just a really great set of tracks, and hopefully you check it out based on all the names I've mentioned. If you are a bit of a nerd when it comes to this style of music, I think you are probably going to be wanting to check this out. And if you haven't even heard of any of the names I've mentioned, I'd still check this album out just for the fact that you'd get a good album, you know, under your belt, a good album experience, I guess you could say. Thank you for watching this review. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you subscribe if you have not already. Tell me what I should review next, although there are some big albums out this week. This is one of the biggest release days I think I've seen for quite some time. So yeah, I'm gonna have a stacked week. So actually, I'm probably confident with my album schedule for the next few days. But if there are albums you want me to check out that I haven't already, do let me know. Listen to this album, let me know your thoughts. Have a good day, and yeah, goodbye, subscribe, goodbye, subscribe, goodbye.